We be live.
Hello.
What are we doing today?
We are talking about apostate prophet.
He actually left a comment before we started the stream in the live chat.
Yes.
Do you want to? So we're going to talk about Apostate Prophet's recent video. When was this video? This was like just
almost exactly a month ago.
A month ago, yes. So he has a video with the title, I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine. And we're going to be reviewing that. And okay, highlight what Apostate Prophet was in the live chat. He left 2 comments.
Yeah, about 2 hours ago. Saying,
2 hours ago.
AP, meaning Apostate Prophet, I don't want to talk about Israel. Then Atheist Republic, AP is wrong about Israel.
I think he's misrepresenting what happened here. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, let me highlight what actually happened. Okay, AP, I don't want to talk about Israel. In a video titled, I don't want to talk about Israel. Then halfway through the video, he goes on and proceeds to talk about his views on Israel after saying he doesn't want to talk about Israel. Okay. He gives his views about Israel right after saying, I don't want to talk about Israel. And then they are saying, AP is wrong about Israel. Okay, so that's the more accurate version of what happened. Okay, so wait, is everything okay in the live chat? Okay, audio is great. Thank you so much, Dolly, for this. So, AP, this is some friendly criticism. Don't get upset with us. Let me see if it's everything okay. Yeah, guys, everything continues to be okay, right? Because Facebook rejected this video, and I'm just like, screw it, we're not gonna stream on Facebook. Okay, cool. Should we get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. By the way, before we start, I know there. Okay, this is not a good frame.
People are.
There we go. There are some people who earlier commented and said, oh, why are you doing this? This is cannibalism. Like, why are you going after like another ex-Muslim? Blah, 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 blah. Maybe because we're not tribal. Maybe because we can criticize people from our own community. Maybe because not all ex-Muslims and atheists think alike. Maybe because we can have friendly disagreement, huh? Maybe because there's no standard agreement. Like, this is not, oh, this is infighting. Only if you see disagreements as infighting, this is infighting. All right. If you see like us criticizing each other as like a war or a fight, then you're the problem. Okay. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. I'm pretty sure AP can handle some criticism. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. He couldn't take it. AP can take it. He's a big boy. Okay. All right. Let's get. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Wait, what is this? I forgot. Oh, wait. I forgot that most of you here
don't do this.
are not very smart.
No,
so
no.
I'm going to go on the speed of most of you that are incapable of comprehending videos with double speed. This is for your, I put the speed for your brain capacity.
Some of us have audio processing issues, Armin.
Okay, sure. You're just not at my level. You're just not at my level. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, let's continue.
Prophet. Many people are asking me and expecting me to talk about the current situation in Israel and Palestine. And to be very honest, I am really trying to not comment my opinion on it. The truth is, I don't want to comment on it. I don't want to talk about the current fighting that is going on between Israel and Hamas or Israel and Palestinian activists.
By the way, this is completely also fine, right? So this is not I don't have any issue with this, right? There are so many things happening in the world, and you don't need to know enough, or you don't need to have to care about every single one of them. Nobody is going to have the capacity to follow and know about every goddamn single issue that is happening in the world. And they shouldn't be expected to, right? Anybody could be active in the way that they think is the most positive way, and there's plenty of material, content, views, like anybody could be involved with. Nobody is this is not what this is not what I'm criticizing, right? you can decide that, you know what, I'm not going to touch that subject. Okay. And I know, like, something I defend Apostate Prophet about is that Apostate Prophet goes and mostly focuses on criticizing Islam, right? Recently, he's also like doing some atheism related stuff against the existence of God as whole. But even if he never, like, some people are like, oh great, finally Apostate Prophet is like promoting atheism, not just like anti-Islam. Honestly, if he decided to just focus on Islam, that is completely fine. Like, people, like, some people come and say, like, Armin, I like you more than Apostate Prophet because you attack every religion, not just Islam. I'm like, no, that's like, we need Apostate Prophet. We need channels that are focusing on Islam. Okay, just because we're not focusing on Islam, we're doing every religion. That doesn't mean that that's not like. So if we had a channel like an atheist ex-Hindu channel that focused only on Hinduism, most people wouldn't have an issue with that. If you had a channel that was focusing mostly on Christianity or Judaism, and because that was their background, that was their passion, people don't have an issue with that. But when a channel focuses mostly on Islam, people are like, why are you focusing on Islam? Because I want to. Okay, because I want to. What the hell is wrong with that? Right? So picking a content and be like, I'm going to focus on this, and people are like, whoa, give us an opinion on this. Like, I'm not going to touch that. Like, no, you should. Like, no, why should he? Right? You could. It's your channel. You pick the topics you want to focus on, and that's completely fine. And nobody should be able to force you. Maybe they could put on a request. They're like, hey, I would like it if you talk about this. But if it doesn't, like, it's completely fine. That's completely fine. Okay. So this is not an issue, in my opinion.
I talked about the conflict in general, its history and all that in the past in a long video.
Yeah. So he already has a video that goes through his views on this. Okay. So just remember that, because we're going to come back to that.
I could now sit down and immediately jump on the train and talk about what is going on in Israel and Palestine.
Okay, look at this. He's describing it as jumping on the train. Okay, do you get, when you say something, when somebody says jumping on the train, you get a sense that they're saying that this is something that people are just like doing, like, oh, I'm just going to be like everybody else, right? Like,
they're doing it to signal. They're doing it to join and show that they're part of the group.
All right, so
they're using that as an opportunity. Like, yeah,
that's the vibe I'm getting from this, right? So, I mean, when something important, insincere,
okay, insincere joining onto a cause.
Yes, when you say somebody's jumping on a train, exactly, perfectly said by Susanna. The impression you get is like you're saying they're insincere. They're just trying to get clout and attention because this is a worldly event, and you're just taking advantage of the news, just become relevant or blah blah blah. So if that's the standard, then we can't be talking about major events that happen around the world, or else we're jumping on the train, right? So if there are major human rights, like, so what's the standard here? Like, obviously, if something happens that is important, especially if it's like human rights are involved, and, you know, people, like, let's say somebody follows AP and trusts AP for like AP, I think he has, like, more often AP has good takes, right? And you don't know what you think about this. Like, AP, if he doesn't want to make a video on this, that's completely fine. But if he made it, maybe somebody will be like, oh, I appreciate to see, like, maybe AP is giving me a different perspective of it. It's completely fine at a time when something important happens around the world, which sometimes some events, like, is getting a lot of attention, is justifiably getting a lot of attention, right? Like, do we say this about, you know, the human rights violation in China and Muslims? Like, you know, so for example, we were highlighting that case way before it got a lot of attention, right? But once it got a lot of attention, a lot of more people are bringing attention to it. Do we go and say, like, what, you guys are just jumping on a train? Like, no, please, more people should talk about this, right? In fact, I invite everybody to jump on the train of bringing more attention to Yemen. Okay, so the Yemen situation is not getting the attention it deserves. Maybe one day it becomes a viral issue at some point, and if it becomes a viral issue, if people are jumping on that train, I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Keep everybody. There's infinite room in this train. Everybody hop on board. This needs attention. Like, I don't understand why it's being described like this. But go on, Sus.
Well, some people would say that some are just jumping on the train to insincerely and cynically
Right.
join a cause for their own ends. Maybe for how it makes them look, or maybe they want the cause to go in one specific direction or another for their own personal benefit. It's a self-enlightened interest. So, I mean, and that is definitely the case for many other major human rights violations around the world, including the example you gave of the ongoing genocide in Xinjiang. We see a lot of that in particular. But yeah, that's all I have to say for right now.
Okay. Kent is saying no one talks about Ethiopia genocide because it's not geopolitically relevant. Well, Kent, you motivated me to maybe to look into this if I, but the thing is that, guys, there's enough human rights violations for all of us, okay? There's enough for all of us to just doesn't matter if you're picking something that is everybody's talking about or something that most people are not talking about. Just do if you're bringing attention to something that deserves attention, you're doing the right thing, okay?
I remember
right.
what I was going to say. Some people might also say that people are insincerely joining into a cause because they don't want to be seen not joining the cause. So I
Right.
think everyone saw a lot of this behavior with BLM, where you were like, I don't think you really mean it, but I think you just want to show like you mean it. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing, that's very true, okay? But the way some people make it seem like just because there are some people who are taking advantage of news just for, I don't know, clout or whatever, you cannot just now generalize and assume that, talk as if that's what everybody's doing. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it seems like people are suggesting that without actually saying it. We'll see. Okay, let's continue.
Palestine and make my opinion, try to tell people what is right and what is wrong. But
so here's the thing. You already do that, AP, trying to tell people what is right and what is wrong. You do that about many other things. By the way, like he when it comes to the jumping on the train comment, it makes it seem like there's no alternative, right? So this is why I have a problem with the way this is being phrased, right? So like, if I comment on this, I'm jumping on the train, okay? Well, is there not an alternative that you're commenting on this because you care about this and you think you could add up some perspective to this that maybe some of your followers don't have, right? I mean, Apostate Prophet, wouldn't you say that you successfully jumped on the anti-Islam train as well? Because there are many people before you that were anti-Islam content creators, right? Would you describe you making videos against Islam, jumping on a train that many other people before you were on, and now you're telling people what's right and wrong? So I mean, you're doing the same thing that you're saying. Like, it's completely fine not to comment on Israel and Palestine, but why are you making it seem like it's wrong to comment on Israel and Palestine, right? Like, if this video was like, guys, I'm gonna sit this one out, okay? But it's fine. Like, I don't have any problem with other people covering it. I'm going to sit this one out. That would have no issue with this video. But he's making it seem like he's going to sit this one out while taking a dump on anyone else who's covering this topic, right?
But it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter? What doesn't matter? The issue of Israel and Palestine doesn't matter? Really? It doesn't matter? Or you're okay? So maybe he's saying like let's be more charitable. Maybe he's saying like, my commentary on it doesn't matter.
Well,
let's play it.
Let's hear the complete sentence.
Doesn't really matter. My opinion doesn't really matter. Your opinion most likely doesn't matter to the situation at all. What is happening is that people are over there killing each other, or certain authorities, certain forces are killing people over there over political, religious conflicts.
So if your opinion doesn't matter, so why did you make this video then in 2018? Hold on. You made this all about Israel and Palestine conflict. You made a 25-minute video on it in 2018. Why does your opinion, you say my opinion doesn't matter? I don't like. Okay, again, it's completely fine to not make a video on this. It's completely fine, but your opinion obviously matters. Like, don't act like humble and like, oh, my opinion doesn't matter. You're a channel with 271,000 followers. Of course, your opinion matters. Whether it's negative or positive, whether it's right or wrong, like the idea of like, if your opinion doesn't change, doesn't influence people, why do you even have a channel? Like, why do you even do what you do? Like, what's the point then? Like, you talk about Islam and why it's wrong. Do you think your opinion? Okay, here's the thing. If your opinion on Israel-Palestine you think has no effect and it doesn't matter, okay, then does your opinion on Islam matter? And if your opinion on Islam matters, then why does your opinion on Islam matter and your opinion on Israel-Palestine situation doesn't matter? And if it doesn't matter, why did you make a video of it before?
And I would just be sitting here in my comfortable place,
This is such a... Guys, if you want to bring attention to any human rights violation anywhere in the realm or around the world, anywhere in the world, make sure you make your environment as uncomfortable as you possibly can, or else your opinion doesn't matter. Okay? I see, this is like a damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because if, let's say, for example, there's a human right violations happening somewhere, I don't know, in Africa, right? If you don't talk about it, people are like, look, you guys are living a comfortable life and everything is easy for you guys. Why are you not bringing attention to this? Okay. And then if you bring attention to it, like, you guys are just speaking from a very comfortable environment and talking about this while we're like suffering here. And you're like, okay, so can you explain again, how does the comfortable environment that I'm in has any impact on the validity of the points that we're bringing? Like, does my arguments all of a sudden become more or less valid given the relative comfort that I'm living in compared, like, what? What? Okay.
making comments about it, forming my opinion about it, and talking about which side is justified in defending themselves and killing the other side.
Okay, so remember, he's criticizing, saying what's right and wrong. Just remember this. And from a relatively comfortable environment, say one side is killing the other one, and us judging which side is right and which side is wrong. He's coming out with that, making it a useless opinion that has no worth in sharing and making a video on. Okay, so just remember the standard at this point. Okay, this is the impression I'm getting. Okay, if you think I'm getting my impression is wrong, then tell me if I'm getting the wrong impression. Okay, let me see, guys. In the live chat, you guys are commenting on other things rather than the topic at hand.
And I just don't feel like that is a great thing to do, to be very honest.
Not a great thing to do. For who? For you or for anyone? Because it's so amazing for me, because when somebody comes and say, like, you know what? Like, they're not content to just come and say, like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable making content about this. Like, no, because other people are, and I have to be somehow morally superior to the people who are actually not stepping out. I'm going to step out, but I have to take a giant dump on everybody who's making comments on this while I step out of it. Like, I have to somehow signal that not only I'm not going to talk about this, but also that I somehow morally superior to anybody that it is. Like, it's not a great thing to do, guys. It's just not a great thing to do. It's not a good idea to just comment on these things, okay? Even though I did comment on these things, I made an entire video on it 2 years ago. But come on, guys, it's not a good thing to comment on these things.
We would just be sitting here and talking about it and then feel good about the fact that we did talk about it, that we said something about it. We would just be venting and giving our opinion on something that most people in the world have an opinion about, but the vast majority of those who have an opinion about it don't really know much about.
And so what about the people who have a lot of know about what they're talking about and giving their opinion of? So what does that got to do with you and I? What does that got to do with you? Yes, there are many people that have like uninformed opinions on this topic. Well, you could be somebody that has an informed opinion on this thing. Like, how is other people's uninformed opinion have any relevancy to us having informed opinions about a topic? Like, oh, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to discuss this. So many people have uninformed opinions on this. Well, do all of them have uninformed opinions on this? Like, look, he's just like, I'm not going to talk about it, but guess what? Everybody else was talking about it. Like, he's kind of suggesting that all the other people that you're like, the other content creators that are talking, like AP, why are you not talking about this? Talk about this. Or like, okay, I'm not going to talk about this, but like, oh, but other people's are like, oh yeah, well, all of them have uninformed opinions. Look, no, there is a third option here. There's a third option, informed opinion. In fact, you're one of the people who are informed about this because you did research on the previous videos that you made about this, right?
It's true. Most people in the world.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. You make videos about ISIS, right? And Al-Qaeda. AP, you have made videos about that, right? And you call them like, oh, this is like definitely Islamic, that what they're doing is in accordance to Islam, blah, blah, here's in the Quran, here's in the Hadith, okay? Well, you made videos about human rights violations of radical groups like ISIS, right? So that's what everything you're saying is also true about that. Most people around the world have uninformed opinions about that, okay? Most people in the world are commenting on something on ISIS that doesn't impact their lives directly at all. Right? Maybe indirectly, just like Israel-Palestine issue indirectly affects all of us, but maybe directly it doesn't affect any of us, right? Many of us. Same thing with ISIS. So how is the fact that the ISIS situation not impact us directly, and also the fact that ISIS situation has many people have uninformed opinions about it, that didn't stop you from making content about ISIS, right?
Have an opinion about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Most people have very strong opinions, but at the same time, the vast majority of people in the world don't know.
Look at this. Man Bear Pig is saying, spend 15 minutes talking about 1 minute of AP's video. Watch it, maybe get some context. I have watched it before the stream, so I have the context, okay? If you notice, I'm saying like, we'll get into this. He's going to remember this. Remember that he's saying this. We're going to get back to this. If you don't like it, just go away, okay? So, or no, you know what? Just keep crying about my methods. Just stay here and keep crying about the way I do my streams, okay? See where that gets you. Maybe I'll block you.
Very much about the conflict. They don't know very much about the history, about the details of the conflict. They simply pick sides, mostly depending on where their allegiances are, what religion they believe in, what culture they are from, what ideology they hold. People don't really look at the conflict as an ideal person and then judge what is better in everyone's interest. They simply make up their opinions and allegiances depending on their own ideas and beliefs.
Same thing about Islam. That's exactly how people form their views on Islam. They didn't stop you from making videos on Islam.
In reality, we are all very close, too much emotionally involved in this conflict that doesn't concern most of us. To have a
doesn't concern most of us. Okay. So wait, do we have to only talk? Okay. Again, do we only have to talk about issues that directly influences our lives? Because I think, Susanna, correct me if I'm wrong, I think AP came out and called out the human rights violations of China against Muslims, Uyghur Muslims, didn't he? He did that, didn't he?
I actually don't remember.
I think he did that. And I think he did a great thing. I was really pleased to see that Apostate Prophet came and openly called out the human rights violations in China. And I was really happy that he didn't have to do that, but he did that. And I celebrated that, right? I was really happy to see that. Again, that is something that doesn't impact us, but guess what? We are able to care about our fellow human beings, just like AP is capable of caring for Muslims in China who are not directly, who their lives is not directly does not directly impact AP's life, but AP cares about other human beings, and that's why he comments on them and he calls out the human rights violations, right? So, yeah, so maybe
proper perspective. But at the
AP is commenting again what we already addressed. IP, the comment that you're leaving, we already addressed that at the beginning of the show. So maybe you could go watch that at the beginning. AP is in the live chat and he's commenting again. All right. Well, we already responded to that. You missed it. You weren't here.
same time, we are also so much distant from it. In reality, it is one of many
Your distance, geographic distance from a human rights violation or something that is affecting so many people's lives does not impact whether or not we could have an important opinion on it, and whether or not, or whether or not we should be silent about it or not. Again, it's okay for somebody to decide to be silent about something, but if we decide to talk about something, the fact that this is not impacting our lives, the fact that it's distant from us, doesn't stop us from talking about it. Doesn't stop us from talking about it. We are capable of talking about things that we are not directly affected about. This is like, I think it would be extremely selfish to only comment about things that we are affected by. We care about our fellow human beings.
Conflicts in the world, but we all feel like we have to have an opinion about it. We all have to pick a...
Okay, Apostate Prophet is giving us context. Not what I'm saying at all. Dude, when did that ever imply that we can't talk about it? Apostate Prophet, you missed the beginning of the show, and now I'm not going to explain why what you're saying is giving me that impression. And I'm saying, even if it's not, okay, maybe go. You missed the beginning of the show, so I don't know if I should highlight it, re-explain it because you're late. Okay, but again, what you're saying here is I'm not saying that. You're saying that this is something that is distant from us. Okay, so if that is not impacting our lives. So, and you're saying that this is why you are not going to comment on it. Okay, so if you're not suggesting that the distance and the lack of impact on our life, if that's not the reason why you're not covering it, then what's the relevancy of the distance and the lack of impact on our lives from such human rights violations, right? Obviously, we don't have to only comment on things that we are directly impacted by. Anyways, I'm not going to highlight every single one of your comments. Oh, okay. This is the standard response. Whenever you criticize somebody and they don't have a response to you, the standard response is like, you don't get me. You just don't get me. Okay? You just don't have the mental capacity to be at my level. You just don't understand. This is like the Quran. Okay? Apostate Prophets, you're doing to the criticism of your video. You're doing to the criticism of your video what Muslims do to the Quran, right?
Oh, come on, man.
This verse in the Quran seems to be suggesting this, and we don't agree with that. Nah, you're just taking it out of context. You're just misrepresenting what I'm saying. Okay?
Oh, boy.
All right. Yeah. No, just Apostate Prophet, should we have, do we need to get a scholarship in AP-ology before we could criticize your videos? Okay, all right, okay, let's continue.
And by the way, people think that us doing a video on AP means we're not friends. It's
no, I think AP. I think you missed the beginning of the show. I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure AP can handle criticism. He's a big boy. Okay, I'm sure he can. Go watch the beginning. Look at this. See,
I knew. I know.
This is a standard response.
No, it's funny because this is also just literally how you have fun.
This is the most fun I have. And this is exactly what Muslims say on this channel. Every time I'm criticizing Islam, they come like, oh my God, you need anger management. This is no responses. This is when people just don't have responses. They either say oh, you didn't get me, or oh my God, why you're so angry. This is just empty responses. It's so Muslim anyways, let's continue.
World, but we all feel like we have to have an opinion about it. We all have to pick a side, and we all have to talk about which kind of violence is justified. Or we try to make stupid remarks like, why don't they just stop fighting, as if it's so easy. And then
that's not what we say, right? So again, with the impression that, again, AP, even if you didn't mean to say this is the impression that you're giving. The impression that you're giving is that either don't comment, either people are as enlightened as me that they don't comment on it, or if they comment on it, they have such naive takes are like, wait, and they're just fighting. Yeah, but maybe there's third options here, people that have nuanced, informed opinions that maybe take that route, right? Again, I'm not saying, again, just for the sake of AP, because he missed the beginning of the video, I'm not saying everybody should have an opinion about this, right? I think like it's completely fine not to have an opinion about this, but what AP is doing here is like saying not making content about this is completely fine. But what AP is doing in this video is, first of all, saying that he's not going to have an opinion about it at the first half of the video. The second half of the video is like, by the way, here's my opinion on it, right after I told you that I'm not going to mention my opinion about it. And then also making it seem like people who are having an opinion on it, they are just not as enlightened as AP because they're just sharing their dumb opinions about something that they have no idea about, right? No, you could just sit out and say like, you guys, I'm not going to talk about this without making it seem like you have taken an enlightened position that other people are not. Like, again, look at this. Is this not the impression that you're getting from this? Like, people like, again, he's going to say like, oh no, that's not what I'm saying. Well, maybe your communication skill sucks, because that's the impression I'm getting here. Listen again.
Why don't they just stop fighting, as if it's so easy?
Yeah. Okay. You're getting the impression like the people who do comment on it, they don't like. He never mentions that, by the way, some people have really informed opinion of it, and that's good. No, he makes it seem like it's binary. Either you shut up, or the people who are talking, unlike me, they're just stupid, dumb idiots that are saying naive, stupid things that they don't understand, right?
And then feel like we have just said something amazingly great. Wow, I'm so virtuous. I want peace in the world. Why don't they just stop fighting? Oh yeah, okay, let's just stop fighting.
Yeah, that's the only kind of coverage you're gonna get. If you don't follow AP and you follow other people that are actually commenting on this topic, the only coverage you're gonna get is like simplistic, dumb takes, or like, why don't they just fighting? That's the only other option.
I don't think he's saying that all people are like that at all.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of that.
That's why I know. That's why I'm clarifying. That's what I clarify. I'm like, he's making it seem like it's binary, even if he's not saying that, because he doesn't say like, by the way, there's a third option here. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's making it seem like it's binary without actually saying it. So that's exactly why I said, AP, if you're not saying that, this is the vibe that you're giving off. That is you either follow content creators who don't talk about it, or you follow content creators with dumb opinions about it. Like, no mention of like, by the way, there are some people with really good opinions about this.
My opinions on this conflict, especially since I talked in the past about this, you probably pretty much know that I think Israel...
Look, so here's where this is start, okay? Tell me if I'm being unfair here. We have a video with the title, I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine, okay? But by the way, here's a summary of my views on Israel and Palestine. Starts right here, I think. Starts right here.
Much know that I think Israel is much more in the right here. And about Hamas, which is an organization that aims to establish an Islamic State and which is against the existence of Israel, against a two-state solution. Of course, everyone knows my opinion. The issue...
You just talked about Israel and AP. AP, I have something to tell you. AP, I don't think you just noticed. You just gave your views on Israel and Palestine in a video that you titled, I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine. You just summarized your views. I don't know if you noticed. You just summarized your views. Okay.
Is the other Palestinians in the West Bank and the Palestinian authorities are a different matter. While thinking that Israel is mostly right about this in this conflict, I also wish Israel was a little bit more reasonable. But that is the thing.
You know what? I like that. It wasn't like as binary as a lot of dumb takes out there, right? It's a very good view, right? Like, I could like criticize it a little bit, but overall, yeah, okay. I mean, I, as a Zionist myself, defend Israel's right to exist while criticizing Israel and for a lot of unreasonable takes. And I'm also very much against Hamas. So pretty, some good summary. And he also told you that if you want to know more details about why he has his views, he has made a longer video on it. But again, he just talked about Israel and Palestine.
Who am I to speak about this? What does it really matter? What am I going to change?
Why does that apply to this? Again, AP, you missed the beginning. Who am I to talk about this? What is this going to change? Okay, then why do you have any videos about anything? Okay, why do you have videos about ISIS? Why do you have videos about Islam? What's the point of your channel then? Okay, yes, it's completely fine not to talk about this stuff. Why did you come out and say that you condemn the genocide of Uyghur Muslims in China? Why did you comment on that? If none of this ever matters. Why? Why does your opinion on those other things matter and not on this one? I mean, again, I'm not saying you should make a video on this, but don't make it seem like it's useless to do so. You could just be like, you know what, I'm going to set this one out because I already made a video, or I just don't want it. That's completely fine. It's completely fine to be like, guys, I'm not feeling like making a video on this content. That's completely reasonable excuse. Completely. You think everybody should make a video about everything that happens? Obviously not. Completely reasonable. But don't make it seem like it doesn't matter. Oh, my opinion doesn't matter. Oh, I can't make any single change. A channel with 270,000 subscribers. Oh yeah, my opinion is not going to make no difference at all. Like, okay, then what's the point of advocating for anything? We tell people that, guys, if you share your opinions on something, you don't even need to have 10 followers. You could change the opinion of one person. You could just tell your dad. You could just tell your coworker. So if we advocate, like, guys, stand for things that are right, even if you don't have more than 5 followers, you could be a small change for good. And then a guy that has a channel with this many followers comes like, what does my opinion matter? It's not going to make any difference. Does it have to make all the difference? Like, here's another thing. People think it's binary, right? People think like, oh, if I do something and it doesn't solve the situation as a whole, then I had no impact at all. It's like black and white. Okay, so like, oh yeah, AP, like, Susie, if we talk about religion, okay, me and you, we're not going to be able to end religion, right? Like, do you think we could end religion, me and you? Do you think we can do that?
Hell yeah, no.
Right, then what's the point? Let's just shut it down, guys. We're shutting it down. We're shutting it down. And again, AP came out and said, like, defended Muslims in China, right? Do you think AP's condemnation of the genocide of Muslims in China, do you think that's going to stop the genocide of Muslims in China? Then why did he come out and say it? Again, I'm not saying that he should come out every goddamn time that an event like this happens. He doesn't need to make a video on it. That's completely fine. But these are not good reasons, right? A good reason would be like, I don't want to. Fuck off, right? I mean, I have other shit to do. I have other videos in my plan. I'm not feeling like it. Okay, this is not the kind of content I'm interested in making. That's a completely valid reason. But to say like that, oh yeah, unless we fix the whole situation as a whole, like unless like I'm not going to have an impact, then why do you comment on ISIS? Then why do you comment on Islam?
Even most people who are currently alive in Israel or on the Palestinian side were not there when the foundations of this giant conflict, of this mess, were established. They are simply continuing a fight which they did not begin. And mostly, if they are Israelis, they are for Israel's right to defend itself, to form a two-state solution with a superior Israel, or even to annex the entire region. And mostly, if you are a Palestinian Arab, you are against Israel, you want to get rid of Israelis entirely, or maybe you want a two-state solution. And you are in this mess, and you have an opinion which you yourself mostly did not pick, because people in the past had a giant conflict based on their own identities, on their ethnicities, on their religious...
Like, proceeding to talk about Israel, look, like he's giving you a summary of what's happening in Israel and Palestine. Like they hit a mini history lesson on Israel and Palestine issue in a video. Again, reminder with the title, I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine. Okay, now let me tell you what got us here. What the story behind the mess between the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Let me give you my view on how we got here in a video titled, I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine.
Identities and so on. The ideal solution would not be one that I can come up with, or one that Israelis and Palestinian Arabs or Jews and Muslims can come up with. The ideal solution would be for...
Look at this idiot. Armin was being friends with AP. Now he stabs AP in the back. You are such a moron to think that friends can't criticize friends. Look at this shit. You're such an idiot. Look at it. Zachary Peterson, I could criticize my friends, right? Stabbing in the back? Like what? We should lay off each other's views because we are friends with each other? What the fuck is wrong with people?
No, but this one makes me laugh even harder because Jazz is saying no one is stabbing anyone. One guy stands for justice, the other guy's to sell it to the Christians and Zionists.
Wait, who's who in this situation?
No, but that's what's funny is because I think he was calling AP a sellout to Christians and Zionists, but the problem is you're a Zionist.
Jason, I have news for you. I am an actual Zionist. I'm not a sellout to Zionist. I'm not a sellout to Zionist. I am a Zionist. I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody who is entirely uninvolved, devoid of any interests in the situation, to come in and judge what is best for everyone, and then to just go with that. But since we are all humans and we are tribalistic, we don't really have the capability of doing that, and we also don't have a being who can come and judge for us. All I can really say is that people can eventually see things for how they really are, stop giving each other suffering over religious beliefs and political interests, and that people can eventually come to a conclusion, a solution that is in the best interest of everyone involved.
Look, Apostate Prophet is actually saying he loves me, saying, I love Christians and Zionists. Suck it. There you go. I am the Zionist part. So Apostate Prophet still loves me. Yeah. He still loves me even after I make a video against him.
Personally, at this point, I don't think that I have any right to make big assertions and wave flags.
Oh my God. Why don't you have that right? Susanna, do you think he has that right? I think he has that right.
Hell yeah, he lives in America, bitch.
Yeah, you live, Apostate Prophet, you live in the United States of fucking America. You have the right to have an opinion and share it on everything you want, okay? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, not on Twitter. He joined us in Twitter jail. And got suspended from Twitter.
What do you mean you don't have a right? Of course you have a right. Why wouldn't you have that right? I don't understand.
He doesn't mean literally.
Okay, what does he mean then? You defend him. Defend him for me. What does he mean he doesn't have that right? I mean, he has the right not to make a content on it, but he also has right to make a content on it. Like, why doesn't he have that right? He completely has that right. Somebody tell Apostate Prophet that he has the right to make a video on this topic and a right not to make a video on this topic. Somebody explain to me what this means. Okay, apparently I am misinterpreting the revelations that is coming from our prophet. I'm misinterpreting everything he's saying, okay, according to Apostate Prophet in live chat, okay? So somebody that was wiser than me, tell me what he actually like. Okay, so we are supposed to not take this literally, okay? Like just like the Quran, there's meaning behind these words that my mind is not comprehending, okay? So here that he's saying that I don't have a right, what does he actually mean?
It's in the best interest of everyone involved. Personally, at this point, I don't think that I have any right to make big assertions.
You could make the biggest assertions of all time in history, okay? You can make the biggest assertion in history, Apostate Prophet. You have that right. I can tell you, if you didn't know that you have that right in the United States of America, I'm here to inform you that you have that right.
He means it wouldn't be appropriate. It wouldn't be fitting. That's
okay.
what he means, not
why
is
not?
it legally protected.
Okay. Why not? Why wouldn't it be fitting? You want to be charitable, okay? Why wouldn't it be fitting? Be charitable. Be the most charitable. Steal my Apostate Prophet from me. Why wouldn't it not be fitting?
Because he believes that he doesn't have a stake in it. Apostate Prophet, are you saying that Armin is pedantic? Never heard that before. Welcome to my world.
Okay, fine. Okay, no, I'll take that. I'll take that. He didn't mean literally has the legal right. Okay, so you're saying
genuinely think that?
No, okay, I'm being hyperbolic. Okay, but that's why I'm taking this other stance. Okay, he doesn't mean fitting. Okay, he doesn't mean fitting. Okay, why not? This is the more charitable take. Okay, why not fitting?
I said because he doesn't feel like he has
Okay, so this is
reasonable
guys,
stake in the conflict.
See,
That
this is
is the
Susanna.
impression I got from this
Okay,
video.
so guys, this is not me being unreasonable. This is Susanna being steelmanning and being charitable to
I'm
Apostate
not very
Prophet.
good at that, though, to be
Okay,
honest.
but guys, like AP also in the live chat, AP is just telling me I'm being wrong. He's not giving me the more charitable take. Okay, let's be the charitable take that Susanna is saying. If that is the standard, if that's what Apostate Prophet is saying, then we shouldn't be making videos on anything that we don't have a stake in, based on that standard. Okay. I mean, I've seen Apostate Prophet making videos on many things that he doesn't have a stake in, justifiably so. Okay, so do I have now? Is that fair criticism, or am I still misreading what he's saying? Do you want to like? Is there any other take? Is there a more charitable take? AP, you're in the live chat.
No,
Maybe
I
instead of
just
telling
feel
me,
like it could also be argued that people have differing amounts of stake in any given conflict. So I think that like
What
the world as
stake
a
does-
whole generally has a high stake in this conflict in particular, but there are other conflicts that my life isn't personally affected by, and there isn't that much of a stake in it, but I still have an interest in it.
Okay, so first of all, I do want to make an argument why we all do have a stake in this, but even if we didn't, we care for other people. We don't have to have a stake in it to care for other people. But again, Apostate Prophet keeps saying in the live chat that I'm like misrepresenting him. He doesn't give me the right interpretation. So how does this not apply to, again, Apostate Prophet coming out and condemning China for the way Muslims were treated in China, right? Justifiably, he condemned it. Justifiably, Apostate Prophet came and condemned it, okay? And I like that he condemned it. It's very good, okay? I supported it. I support the fact that Apostate Prophet did that, okay? But what stakes does Apostate Prophet have in that conflict? He doesn't have any stakes. So how does that standard not apply over there? What's the difference? If this is a false analogy, tell me how it's a false. Don't just tell me like, oh, Armin, this is not equivalent. This is different. Tell me how. Explain to me how this is different. Can anybody wants to defend? Like, if I'm Okay, so here, Apostate Prophet saying, I only commented on China. I did not make a video about it. That said, it's different. How is it? Okay, but what we're comparing is the fact that you don't have a stake in it. Is that not the same in both of these situations, right? So that part of it is, of course, it's not the same thing because these are two different conflicts. Of course, they're not completely equivalent, but the part that you don't have a stake in it, that part is what we're comparing. That part of it is the same. So you're saying you didn't make a video about it. So are you saying that every video you make has to be something that you have personal stake in it? Like every single video you make has to be something that you personally affects you? Apostate Prophet, I actually think highly of you in a way that I think you make videos about things that you think affects humanity, not just you personally. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of videos, and I know that you make videos not because you don't chase money, because I know this is something I can I'm very comfortable saying about Apostate Prophet. Apostate Prophet has done things that has made it clear for me that he's willing to lose following and lose donations for covering something that he thinks is important for the world, right? And not for himself personally.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So I'm like, within the videos that Apostate Prophet makes, it's not because he thinks that he has a stake in it personally. He thinks this is an important thing that maybe people should know. Okay? So having a personal stake is not a standard that you yourself use when you try to cover a topic, Apostate Prophet. Right?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, you go. You go. Well, No, this is completely wrong. I chase money. I love it. No, you don't. I know you don't. Okay, let's see what he's saying. He's saying massively different conflict. Israel-Palestine is a giant mess full of misinformation. China is one big state oppressing people as the world sits by. Okay, then that means that it needs more. That means that it's more complicated. So it needs more nuanced coverage, right? I'm not saying, again, I hope people understand that I'm not saying that, like, there's going to be some idiots that think that I'm saying Apostate Prophet should make a video on this. Why is he not covering this? Of course he doesn't need to cover this. I think like he could just say, like, I don't want to make a video on this. That's completely fine. But the reason that he's giving doesn't make any sense. The reason he's saying is that, like, for example, right now he's saying it's a giant mess. Well, I would argue if it's a giant mess, you need more people to cover it, people that are more familiar with the nuances and the details of the conflict to like, if something is more complicated, you need more people explaining it. I assume so. If something as simple as, like, everybody understand that the CCP is being evil, all right, well, the only thing you need to do is that every time they do something evil, as a content creator, you just need to make sure that you're bringing the attention, that you are bringing attention to your followers. That's, I mean, what most of us can do. But if something is more complicated than that, it's not that black and white, and there's a lot of nuances, it takes more hours, it takes most videos to unpack this for your followers. It takes a higher level of responsibility for you to go into the details. And again, you could say, like, well, I'm not going to get involved with that. I have other things to do. That is completely fine. But don't make it seem like I'm not going to cover this because we have no stake in it. That's not a valid reason. That's not a valid reason. You already make a lot of videos that you don't have a stake in. That's not a valid reason at all. We are capable of caring for other people that are being hurt by certain conflicts, that even if it's not us. And I know that the Apostate Prophet cares about other people other than him, even though he might joke about it right now in the live chat that he doesn't. Okay, let's continue. Well, I disagree. Problem solved. Case closed. Okay. All right, let's finish this.
Flags in this conflict. I'm not in such a position. Most people are not in that position. That is really all I want to say. But this is just what I really, truly feel and think at the moment. I hope the killing can stop soon. I feel for everyone who suffers in conflicts, in this conflict and conflicts like these. I hope it can be resolved soon. And I hope people can eventually realize that this is not the way. I hope they can not only see the fault in the other side, but also the fault on their own side. I don't want my words and myself to be more wood, more fuel to add to the fire. If I can make a suggestion, I would say, please don't be fuel to the fire. Don't play with it, especially if you can sit in a comfortable home and just add your fuel to the fire
home again
while people are killing each other. That's all I want to say. Take care. I will be back, and have a good day.
Okay. But I think he's more saying just these really throwaway, uninformed opinions that are just very tribalistic are the ones that are harmful. Like, that's what's adding the fuel to the fire.
That's not what he said, though.
And
right?
we have seen a lot of incitement across the world.
Right. But that's not what he said, though. Okay. That's not the impression I got. He made it seem like it's binary. He made it seem like, oh, I'm not going to. This is what happened. He said, like, I don't want to comment on this. Here's my comment on this. Also, the reasons why I'm not commenting on this is I don't have a stake in it. That's not the standard that he uses for his other videos, because most other people have uninformed opinion on this. Well, that's not, again, not a standards for his other videos. And also, here's a summary of other people commenting on this, and he made it seem like he made it seem like very binary. Like, he didn't give the impression. He never even once just said, by the way, even though I'm not commenting on this, there are many informed opinions on this that are going into the nuances and unpacking this in very nuanced ways. And it's good to cover this. Like, he didn't even suggest, like, you know what, maybe I'm not covering this, but just because you don't have a stake in something, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be paying attention to it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be having he could have said, like, yeah, I'm not going to be covering this, but just because we don't have a stake in this, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have informed opinion on issues that is affecting our fellow human beings, right? It came across as the opposite of what I'm saying right now, okay? And by the way, even if you were like, even if you didn't care about certain topics because it didn't impact you directly, this does help. Like, first of all, it does impact you directly. Okay, like the Israel-Palestine issue
definitely.
has been like, there are so many ways. Like, 9/11 was on the back of Israel-Palestine issue. The whole conflict of radical groups with United States was mainly because of United States support for Israel, which led to the invasion of Iraq, which led to the collapse of Syria, which led to the migration crisis. So the migration crisis in Europe is because of the Israel-Palestinian issue. So if you think you haven't been affected by this conflict, then you don't know the effects of this conflict, right?
It's definitely one of the most consequential conflicts in the world. Can you think of anything that's more consequential?
I mean, I believe in the butterfly effect, so I think everything. Yeah. Very important comment.
Oh.
But let's say that this didn't impact. Let's say what number one. Let's say first of all, you care about your fellow human beings, so you want to bring attention to something that you think that is affecting others, but not you. Second of all, it does impact you in many ways. Third of all, let's say that neither of these number point 1 and 2 is true. Okay. But you trying to analyze other people's views on religion, racism, political conflicts, and how they mix with each other really helps you notice your own internal biases, right? Like ethno-nationalism is a problem, for example, in the United States. By analyzing ethno-nationalism and the problems it's causing in other countries, such as Israel, then you could have a better view of your own internal biases or what's happening in your own country. So these movements are completely parallel and relevant. You're going to have a very narrow view if you only focus on things that are happening in your background. Looking at the history of your country or your city or whatever, and then comparing it to other movements that happen around the world and make relative comparisons and also learn from where they led to and how they started. It's the most, like, you can't put societies in labs, right? You can't do trial and error. The best thing you could do is either use history or do comparative analysis with other movements around the world. I know they're different, but you can still learn things from it. You could come up with better perspectives from other countries based on analyzing who's right, who's wrong, what do you think about it. That skill set of analyzing those situations can apply to analyzing things that are happening in your own background. Is completely useful, right? Apostate Prophet is saying, okay, I'm not going to highlight some of these troll comments by AP, but he made another comment that was good. What is it? Invite AP to the chat and let him talk. We should listen to him. Okay, if you want to show up, where should I send the link? I can send you a link. Where should I send it to? You want me to send it to you on your Facebook? Are you still on Facebook? Is AP banned on Facebook?
Oh no.
What?
Oh
my God. Okay, Fufu, we are not scared to let Apostate Prophet on, but you're going to be banned right now because of posting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 time. So Fufu, first of all, you're a moron because we are sending the link to Apostate Prophet, and also congratulations on your ban for posting the same thing multiple times. Oh, here, Apostate Prophet got the link. I sent the link to AP. AP, you said yo on Facebook to me. I sent you back the link. Do you see it? He's gonna come. Oh, look, this guys. I sent Apostate Prophet the link. Anis, you posted this thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So enjoy your block. Because I already sent. You're an idiot. Because I already sent the link to Apostate Prophet, and you get blocked for posting something. Oh, look at this. Lit AP on, you dog, Armin. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus, you guys are such idiots. I sent him the link, and you guys are posting this after I sent him the link. You think like I'm scared? So
Stop
again,
engaging with it.
block user. AP, what? Look at your followers. What happened? AP, your follower. Hey, I sent you the link. AP, he said yo to me again on Facebook. I sent you the link. Do you see it? Maybe he's getting rid of it. Oh, there we go. AP, your follower. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, meet your YouTube. There you go.
What? Me too? YouTube? What?
Mute your YouTube.
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh wait, my camera is not connected. That's funny. Wait, give me a second.
Yeah, maybe you're like not the real apostate prophet. You're just
I'm the
impersonating.
fake one.
You're the fake one.
Give me a second.
No worries. No rush.
Adam
Take
Rickster
your
is
time.
saying watching AP versus AR is like witnessing the war at Karbala. Well, that's a
Yahoo
little
say. Okay, we be Hussein AP because
All the
he's
way.
ex-Sunni. Yeah, we be Hussein because we're ex-Shia. Susanna is also ex-Shia, by the way. If you guys, Susanna is
I'm
actually
now
Shia. No, she's actually Shia. And Apostate Prophet is ex-Sunni, so he would be the Yazid. Guys, this is not a fight. You guys don't get it. Jesus. Oh my God, look at this. Russian Orthodox Church is saying, I pray you go to hell, Susanna and Armin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comments. 5 comments saying that they pray we go to hell. No, is it 5? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Who cares?
6?
Who cares?
7.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hi. Why am I so dark? What's going on here?
I don't know.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
See everybody how scared they were to get me on here.
I started quaking.
We're shaky, guy. So I'm leaving. I don't know. I didn't think he's gonna come on.
You're
Susanna,
literally shaking.
I didn't think this was gonna happen. I'm just gonna go. I have to pee. Okay.
You're petrified, shaking.
No, this is
Now that we're in his presence, I take everything back.
this wasn't our plan. We didn't mean anything. Okay, you're fantastic. We love you. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Don't go easy on us. I'm just kidding. Shit, this wasn't the plan. God damn it, he actually came on.
Shit. I don't know why I came on. I was actually supposed to record a video. That's why I quickly came here in front of my equipment. So I'm supposed to make a video, but I'm completely distracted by this stream that you're having about me.
Yeah.
Which means you are actually preventing me from making a video right now.
Oh.
And you are contributing to the suffering of humanity by
Well, your opinion doesn't matter, so I don't think how much of a you just said your opinion doesn't matter. So
well, the thing is, my opinion matters about things that I care about. And if I don't care about something, then my opinion doesn't matter about that certain thing. And that's how it works. That's basically how it goes. Yeah.
So did you care about it before when you made a video about it in 2018?
Yes.
And now you don't care about it anymore.
See, no, to be serious for a second. So the reason that I made that video actually is the point of the video is not to be taken literally. The title of the video is not to be taken literally. So it is not that I do not want to talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict. So I'm not going to say anything about it. That's not the point. The point was that I think I said at the beginning of the video as well, I received a lot of messages and a lot of comments of people saying, hey, why are you not talking about this? Talk about this now. Come on, say something about it. And I just didn't want to. I really didn't want to talk about it. So I thought, okay, well, I could just sit and let it go away, but I didn't want to do that. I felt like so many people are asking, I should at least say something about it. So I decided to simply make a video about why I am not talking about it. So the point is not that I don't have an opinion about it and that I simply do not want to state anything. The point was just, here is why I'm not actively talking about this issue. So, you know.
Okay, but your reasons were not what the reasons you give is not the reason you're giving now. Okay, the reason you're giving now is that you just didn't want to talk about it, which is completely fair.
No. I didn't say that. I didn't explain why I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, as I explained during the video. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. I don't know. Because I think this is such a giant conflict, such a giant mess. I have in the past cared so much about it and tried to make a video exposing the historical facts and where we have come from, where we are now with the conflict. I thought in the past that I somehow I have this passion to put that out, to put the facts out and to put my opinion out, and also to kind of contribute to correcting misinformation out there. I did that. Today, in today's time, I feel like I am no longer in a position where I feel like I should be actively talking about this stuff, because everybody is talking about it. Everybody feels the need to talk about it. Everybody around the world feels the need to talk about it. And mostly people simply only talk about it because they feel like they have to talk about it, not necessarily because they know something about it. And I want to make it clear here that I'm not saying everybody who's talking about this is uninformed or misinformed. I'm saying that there are too many people in the world who talk about it without knowing the first thing about it. And I will also go ahead and claim that the vast majority of people who talk about this conflict don't know shit about the conflict. They don't know anything about the conflict. They have completely biased, idiotic positions inspired by their biases, which come from their allegiances, be it religious, national, political, whatever it is. And the more people just give their angry, loaded opinions about this conflict, the more they simply fuel a fire while just comfortably talking about it on Twitter, while people are over there being bombing each other, dying, and so on. While all of that is happening, I simply do not find it appropriate myself personally to also go out there and to also add my strong opinions about this stuff and to also add more fuel to the fire. Because one of the reasons is no matter what I am going to say about it, it will simply be taken by either side mostly for partisan reasons. If I explain something about how people are misrepresenting Israel and how Israel is more right, according to me, in this conflict, it will just be taken by pro-Israel people as a confirmation, and people will go with that. If I criticize Israel for something, people will just take that as a confirmation bias and will go with that. I'm not really doing anything by talking about this. I'm simply just giving fuel to the fire. I would rather leave the talking or the problem solving to people who can actually do something about this, instead of just sitting here and doing it because I have a channel where I talk about Islam.
Okay, so the thing is that those are personally the things that applies to you, you know, for why you're not wanting to cover this topic, right?
Yeah.
But it, you know, to me, it does seem like you're suggesting to me, okay, so again, my impression could be wrong, that you're saying that, okay, for example, let's say you make videos about Islam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I made a video, I was like, guys, I'm an atheist, I'm making videos about religion, but people are asking me to make videos specifically talking about why Islam is bad, right?
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I don't think like my opinion is really going to change anything. And there are so many other people out there that make videos about Islam out there, and they're just jumping on this bandwagon, right? And everybody else is just making videos about Islam, and I really don't see any value in that. And you know, I don't know how my opinion, and there's so much misinformed opinions about Islam. Everybody's being tribal about it. People who believe in Islam, they just like emotionally believe in Islam, and people who are against it, they make videos. They are also being tribal. They created this new tribe of ex-Muslim that they belong to. Everybody's just being tribal about it. Most of them on both sides have uninformed opinion about it, not really based on the nuances and facts, but just based on their personal experiences. And I really don't see why we should cover this. I don't see why there's any value in this. So that's why that's why I'm not making any video on it. So if you, as a Apostate Prophet, if you watch that video, even though if I'm saying like, even though it seems like I'm talking about me, even though it seems like I'm talking about why I'm not making a video, I think like a lot of people are gonna feel like this was an attack on Apostate Prophet, wasn't it? Like this is like telling everybody that like not only I'm not gonna make a video specifically about Islam, I'm actually just arguing why it's just wrong. It's just a dumb thing to do. Like it's just like doesn't make sense. Like this is like making content on this is useless. You could see that that's what I'm actually saying. Like, no, you wouldn't get that impression. You think that would be completely me taking it out of context if I do that?
I don't know. I feel like you are kind of misunderstanding.
No.
I think you.
I'm accepting that maybe I'm misunderstanding, but do you think that would be not an understandable misunderstanding? Like it would be.
Could be. Well, yeah. It's easy to misinterpret, misunderstand things. It might be that I did not explain my position very well. That video, I made that video. I felt quite strongly about it, and I thought, come on, you know what? I'll just sit down and quickly say a few words about this, and made that video. I normally when I make a video about something that I feel is very important, I actually spend a lot of time preparing that video. I make notes, I look into information again, I write a script, I stick to it, or just go with it. With this one, I just sat down and just shared some of my views. And after I published the video, I thought, I should have said this and this and that as well. Would have made it clear, but whatever. I just publish it, and I'm moving on from that. So that was how the video came into existence. And so I can understand that some people might misunderstand what I am saying and why I'm saying it, because maybe I did not express myself very clearly and very particularly. But yeah, I don't think it is comparable to criticizing Islam. I also don't think that what was your point? I also don't think that it is not a worthwhile thing to talk about. I simply think that I personally think that I am not in a position where I should feel the necessity to talk about this matter and to take a stance which will only serve for politically motivated purposes anyway. I would rather leave it to people who are actively involved in this conflict, who are experts on this conflict, who talk about this conflict, and so on. I am informed about Islam. This is what I'm doing. I talk about it. I inform people about why Islam is wrong. And I think I am in a position to actually talk about this. I think there are many people who are not necessarily in a position to talk about it on both sides. It's not just both sides. There are many sides to these discussions, but I think there are many people who are not necessarily in the position to talk about it, although I will never say that they should not be talking about it. I simply think that in this particular conflict, I am not really adding anything valuable to the discussion, no matter what I say.
Okay.
When it comes to China, for example, when I look at China, what I see is that we have clear evidence that a giant state is oppressing people because of how much they care about making everyone think the same way, and they just consider ethnic groups and religious groups as a threat to their unity, which is why they feel free to oppress and to brainwash people. And people are taken away from their kids for years and put into camps where they are forced to to be re-educated, as they call it, and the whole world stands by while we have the clear evidence that this is happening. So I could go out here and say that this is disgusting, that this is horrible. I also did think about the idea of making a video about this, but I don't think that I am qualified to actually sit down and to make a proper video about this, which is why I will not do it. You know.
But I mean, the situation in Gaza is very dire. Like we could have disagreements on what are the causes, like who is responsible for what and what exactly has led to so many people suffering. Like we could disagree on that, but the fact that so many, like if you are saying that there's clear evidence of people suffering in China, well, we also have obvious clear evidence of people suffering in extreme cases in Gaza, right?
I think it's very different.
Yeah, but I understand that it's different. Obviously, they're not the same situation. No two situations are, but the part that is this, the element that you highlighted was the clear existence of suffering, and that part is also true when it comes to Gaza. No,
I don't think so. I think the whole nature of this suffering is completely not just different because these are different conflicts, but they are completely different from each other, which motivates me to talk about the whole China thing, because we have just one big state against a group of people, which is not really, which doesn't really have many people that support them or that stand up for them. Whereas in the whole Israel-Palestine conflict, we don't have simply one state oppressing a people. We have actually three involved sides here, that all have different stories. When it comes to Gaza, we have the Israeli atrocities, we have Hamas atrocities, we have uninvolved people who are in the middle of all of this. And I don't think it is like in China, just a big state against a little group. In Israel, it is more like all over the place, everyone against each other. And people just make wild claims endlessly about this whole conflict. I don't agree that it is just
but what you said is something I completely, yeah, but the thing, the what you just said is something I completely agree with, right? The more complicated nature of this situation, I completely agree with that. The part that I'm saying is similar is not whether we have one clear evil state versus, you know, a majority helpless innocent civilians. That is obvious. That binary is more obvious in China versus Uyghur Muslims. But you know, when people try to simplify the situation in Israel-Palestine and Israel bad, Palestine good, or Palestine evil, like Israel good, like it's not that simple. Like we have bad actors and good actors on both sides, and there are multiple, like there's religion, politics, real estate, racism. There's so many different things at play, and each side has many different groups, political groups, military lobbyists, religious groups. It's extremely complicated on both sides. So when it comes to the complexity of this conflict, I am completely on your side on that matter. Like I agree with that. But the only thing that I was comparing that is similar is the existence of misery. I wasn't suggesting that I wasn't suggesting that this is the nature of this conflict is at all similar. I was just saying that you were saying that there's obvious misery happening in China, and I'm suggesting that there's obvious high level of misery happening in Gaza. That's the only thing that I'm saying is the same. There's nothing else.
I don't think suffering or misery alone is enough. I think there is misery, suffering everywhere in the world. It is a part of life, and that is not enough reason for me to talk about a specific subject. There are many different aspects, many different factors which would motivate me to talk about a specific subject while avoiding a completely different subject. In China, it is the way the suffering is experienced and dealt that makes me want to speak up, that makes me want to talk about it. In Israel, the it is not the existence of suffering. It is simply how the suffering comes into existence, all the parties involved, all the misinformation going around. Like, I feel like if I did talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict, I was actually preparing a video, and I did actually make a few points that I brought up. And see, I was preparing a video, and I prepared this script which I called the Israel-Palestine myth, and I was basically talking about the Palestine-Israel map, how that is often distorted, how Israel stole land, how that is distorted, Hamas fighting for freedom, or whether Israel ever committed terrorist attacks and stuff like that. And I was just writing all of this down, just thinking about how I can make this entirely information based without adding much opinion, much fuel to it. And just as I was preparing that, I was just checking the news, and then I saw a bunch of articles come up which basically said that a bunch of kids in the Gaza Strip died during the last bombing. Kids who were getting therapy because they survived because of trauma. And I saw that, and I just felt completely awful about what I was preparing.
What kids? What kids?
I don't know. There was a news report about how people in the Gaza Strip, Palestinian kids, or Palestinian, I don't know, kids or teenagers, whatever it is, died in a bombing. And I saw that, and I thought about what I'm preparing right now, and I felt awful inside, and I thought, oh, I don't really want to have an opinion about this right now. And then I saw the justification of the bombing, which was that Israel in advance informed them and said, we will bomb these and these places, evacuate right now. But people did not evacuate because they want to stand strong, so they died, and so on. There are already so many shades to this, so many layers to this, which did not even reach the media. And I could point this out, but I felt like, I don't know, all that I will be doing here is just to not really to clarify. Nobody gives a shit about my clarification. What I will be doing here is just simply to just add more to this giant mess. I will leave it to other people to quickly end and solve this problem instead of taking a position. I don't want to care. It nauseates me. That's what I thought.
Right.
It's my position. It's just.
Honestly, what you're saying right now is so much more. I get it a lot more than the video you made. This makes, like, just saying, like, this seemed like I wasn't in a position to be able to do this conflict justice, and that's why I didn't cover it. That makes so much sense to me, and that is such an admirable position.
It's a very responsible thing to say.
That's a very responsible position. Like, I wish you said that in the video.
I thought I made it clear that I just feel like I don't know. I felt like I'm not adding anything good, but I could possibly be adding just bad stuff to this, which is why I simply don't want to do it. And I would advise people who to be more considerate about the results of the things that they're talking about. I probably did not explain this very well in that video, but that was basically.
I mean, I can appreciate that. Like, the last time I spoke about this conflict, like, upon reflection, I think I was a little, like, too assertive about certain points I made or certain positions. Like, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Totally.
And there are videos in the past where I talked about conflicts, including the Israel-Palestine conflict, or stuff about India, for example, where I thought, maybe I shouldn't have done this video. And that's how I feel for a long time about it, because I just feel like, man, do I really have the right to talk about, to say certain things which might just be, which just make judgments while people are dying, and I'm just adding a bunch of fire to it. And that's just how I personally feel about it, and that's just what I see and what I want to share with the public. That's just the stance that I took here.
Oh, okay, hey, David's here.
David?
Is that, I don't know if that's the real David. Is that a real David? I don't know if it is. It would have, I would have a check mark if it was.
No, David doesn't have a check mark. David is not verified on YouTube because he's white. And
well, and also we don't see check marks on our side of the user interface. We only see them in the YouTube live chat.
Okay, so don't get upset when we make videos of you, because
I'm not. I was just trolling.
No, because one thing I like to demonstrate to our audience is that we're not going to be tribal, right? Like, that we're not going to be We are going to go, like, there's going to be some times where maybe some of these Dawa people, maybe some, their rights are violated, and we're going to come and defend, even though we hate their views, we might defend their rights. And there's going to be people who we admire, like you, for example, and we're going to disagree. And maybe our disagreement, maybe our criticism of you would be completely unjustified. And maybe we come out like guns blazing, and then we realize that, oh my God, we were wrong. And we even embarrass ourselves, right? In a video that we make criticizing you. But I think the value of showing that, we're not going to be, we are a community that can take criticism, because one thing that we tell religious people is like, guys, we're just criticizing you, chill, right? So I want us to show like, well, we can just say that, or we could demonstrate that, right? Like we could just like show that, like, okay, somebody made a video like criticizing us, and not only like, this is fantastic, let's see if they have a point. Maybe they don't have a point, maybe they completely mistook my position, and I will tell them that they mistook my position. But we can take it. We're big boys and girls, we can take it. Like we have to show religious people that when we attack their religion and tell them that it's not a big deal, you're going to survive this, that we're not just saying it when we attack their ideas. We could take it when our ideas are getting attacked.
I get that.
And we're not going to hold back either.
Yes. Yep.
Well, you should. You hurt my feelings. And...
Oh,
gee.
Show us where we hurt you.
He opens his phone and he's
you
like,
want us to come give you kisses?
No, I personally don't do that. I see why you feel the need to do it. I actually, to be very honest, I see it. Now that you have explained that to me, I understand better why you feel the need to do it. Because it actually demonstrates something that might be important, especially to your opponents. I personally just don't do that. I think I just don't care that much enough about giving them the impression that I'm actually being nuanced and reasonable. I don't care. I just bash and.
Honestly, I think like the reason for not making a video of something, I think the most and just I don't want to is enough justification. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
It is like, it's my channel. I want to enjoy what I do, and these are the topics I care about. Like, I think like anybody that says like that is justification enough, right? But do you agree that not having a stake in a conflict doesn't mean
No, absolutely not. Go say speak it out. Sorry, say it.
No, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be covering it. Like it's completely justified for us to cover conflicts that we have no stakes in.
That's not what I meant at all. If it was understood that way, I'm sorry if I didn't communicate it very well, but that's not what I think at all. Everyone can have an opinion, an idea about whatever it is that you want to talk about.
And it might be helpful.
Yeah, it could be helpful. I mean, you could be talking about, I don't know, aliens. You could be talking about China and Japan and about strange cults and whatever it is, even if it doesn't concern you at all, and you could add something to the discussion. You have every right to do that, and you should maybe talk about certain things that don't involve you at all. I do. I mean, I don't have any, as you said, I don't have any I'm not in any way involved in the whole China issue. But I have certain thoughts and feelings about it, which is why when I'm asked about it or when I see something about it, I do comment on it. Yeah.
So for example, like, let me give you an example. I am like emotionally invested in what's happening in Iran with the elections, right? And I follow certain. Oh, you're gonna say the same thing? I follow certain content creators, right? And one of the people, for example, who I, some of the people who I cover are like white, Western educated YouTubers with very little following, who I have an interest in their take, right? And this is a person that, like, these are some, for example, people who have no stake, like they have opinions based on, because they study journalism or politics or something, and they're covering the Iran elections, and they have certain views on Iran elections, but they were never born there. They never went to Iran. They don't even know a single, there's no Iranian in their friend circles or family.
And they
And
probably know more than most Iranians.
they probably know more than most Iranians. And I'm listening to this guy, and he had a take, this guy with like that most people, not many people know, that really I found very helpful. Like I never considered it. Like I was like, this is a very interesting angle, right? So I appreciate this guy's take on a conflict
Of course.
that he has no stake in, and it informed my opinion on an issue that I have personal stake in. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful.
It can be useful. It can be good, of course, and people should do that.
And he was, and by the way, he was saying that when sitting in a very comfortable living room. And,
But the reason I mentioned that, I don't know if I can deliver why I specifically mention living in a comfortable or sitting in your comfortable warm room and tweeting about the Israel-Palestine conflict. The reason I specifically mention it there is that I don't know if I can explain it right now very well as well, but that is a conflict that is such a huge, giant mess. It is one of the messiest conflicts in the world, where people are constantly bombing and dying, and there are many other conflicts in the world, there are genocides happening in the world. There are genuine, huge conflicts in the world that nobody gives a shit about. And with this Israel-Palestine conflict, the least informed people even feel the need to have an opinion about it and to give their shitty takes about it online. And because it is so popular, because they feel the need to share an opinion, and they easily feel the need. I mean, I'm just imagining, when I say that, I just imagine some. I don't want to put up a stereotypical picture of somebody, but just some regular person somewhere in the West, somewhere in America, eating snacks and listening to crappy music, and caring about fashion, and quickly tweeting, "Oh, this and this should stop happening," and I condemn Israel and I condemn Palestine and this and that, while people are dying over there over something that is very much more complicated than your dumb take. That's just what I think. But as said, don't take this. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people in all of these conflicts who are living very uncomfortable lives do want people who are living comfortable lives to talk about it, right? Like the people who are suffering from it, they're not demanding.
Yeah, I think what they want should not really matter as much. People want a lot of things that might not be right. I personally think that many people should shut the hell up about the Israel-Palestine conflict, because they're not adding anything good there. On the contrary, adding more confusion and more bad stuff about this conflict.
Suze?
I have an idea for a conversation that would actually teach people quite a lot and help further informing people on things.
What?
AP, do you want to talk with us about the Iranian election sometime? It's super interesting. We just had the third debate, and it's juicy.
I think I'm not informed enough about the subject.
You don't have to be. You can ask questions.
If you want us to inform you about that, if you think your audience is interested, we could inform you about it.
Maybe it could be. Yeah. I remember just researching the beginnings of the Iranian Revolution, reading and watching things about that. That's all I know about the whole Iran mess.
Yeah, we could tell you why Iran is a fake democracy. It's not a real democracy.
Oh, I know that.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Well, actually, Kyle Kulinski hasn't really grasped that, though.
Yeah, no, but I was gonna say something. I forgot. I just wanted to say, like, I think that instead of asking people not to talk about something, I think maybe we should. My request is to keep people interested, but make their opinions more informed, rather than ask them not talk about it. And also the fact that a lot of people talk about this conflict rather than other conflict. Maybe there's two things that would result in. One thing we could do is like, yeah, this conflict is bad, here's another similar conflict. Like we could bring attention to other conflicts rather than asking, instead of like, if this conflict is bad and people talking about it, and this conflict is bad and people are not talking about it, instead of saying people shouldn't talk about this because this conflict that people are talking about is important, we could just ask for this to be raised up rather than to bring this down, right? And also the fact that this is a conflict that a lot of people talk about is also the reason why it's used in so many ways to like you said, add fuel to the fire and increase hate way beyond the borders of Israel and Palestine, right? So the request of like the interest in people not talking about it, I think it's unrealistic. I think us talking about it in a way, like the alternative to not adding fuel to the fire is not just not adding fuel to the fire. The alternative is also to remove fuel from the fire, right? Like to also suggest to people, like maybe some people's takes could help motivate less hatred. Like there are ways where people could look at this conflict to realize that they're being used as tools by malicious players on both sides against each other, right? So it is possible for people to come and introduce takes to this conflict that might even not add fuel to the fire but reduce conflict.
I agree. Yeah. The issue with Israel-Palestine is that it is so noisy that I think what needs to happen first, and the best way to decrease misinformation and to decrease the fire, the best way to do that is for the noise to be lowered significantly. There's so much noise about this conflict that many people first off need to shut up so that we can hear reason, so that we can see what's really going on. There's just too much noise going on. And
that's not going to happen.
And I feel like, I think, honestly, Armin, I think you're too good-willed, is that the word? I don't know.
Naive
about how much people will care about certain conflicts in the world. For example, I'm sorry, let's say it, nobody cares about Africa. Nobody cares about Africa. Nobody gives a damn about Africa. Nobody cares about all the conflicts, about all the suffering, about all the huge, messy, messed up things that are going on in Africa. Nobody gives a crap. And there is a lot of shitty stuff going on in Africa that people do not care about. So much suffering in so many different countries.
We cover news in Nigeria, Kenya,
you do.
Mozambique.
I'm being hyperbolic, but most people in the world do not care about Africa at all. Even people who come from Africa and to go somewhere else do not want to care about Africa anymore. It is something that people feel distant to, that they don't have a direct connection to. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, people care so much about it because they all feel like they are somehow connected to it, which is why they are so involved in it, which is why they care so much about it, which is why they are so opinionated about it. Because on the one hand, you have Muslims, and every Muslim around the world immediately learns about Jews and Israel as they are growing up. You know that very well. And on the other hand, we have Israel, which is the holy land for Jews and for Christians. That makes the majority of the world's population, which is why everybody, and it also carries huge religious significance, which is why so many people in the world care about this conflict and all feel the need to say something about it, to have an opinion about it, to have a strong and most often an uninformed opinion about it. Whereas even if you can shed as much light as possible on what's going on in China, what's going on in some certain Southeast Asian countries, or what's happening in Central or South Africa, people will simply not care. They will still stick to what's happening in Israel and Palestine. And for that conflict to be more reasonable, to have more nuance, we need more people to just acknowledge that they simply do not know, and that they should not feel like they have to say something about it without knowing much about it. And most people will not ever know enough about it. It is not realistic that people will be informed enough about it to have a proper opinion about it.
I think just a mere suggestion that you could have simple takes that are accurate based on your nuanced understanding, that could inform a lot of people. And like the idea that this is a more complicated conflict than most people realize, that Israel, like the idea that Israel and Palestinian civilians are being used by malicious people in power from both sides. This is a simple and I think accurate take of that requires a nuanced understanding to come up with this simple take that you could communicate with a lot of people. And telling, like my message has been like, it's not Israel versus Palestine, right? It's some people with malicious intent in Israel's government, and some people, and many people like it, and Hamas, the entirety of Hamas and Fatah, using the hatred between Arabs and Jews for keeping themselves relevant and in power. And I'm just suggesting, like, if you guys maybe just consider, like, even if you're not informed about this, you don't have to accept this opinion from me, like, because you don't have the time and resources to investigate whether or not this is true. But even if you just accept the possibility that this is not Israel versus Palestine, and this is a possible scenario that is being played, then you might see that maybe the hatred between Jews and Arabs, it's a power play in between other people, and you don't need to take a side. You don't need to take a Palestinian or Israeli side, and then that maybe you could be part of the people that is hopeful or is encouraging the fact that both Jews and Arabs in Israel are capable of living side by side. And if more people actually believe that, more foreign investment and more foreign impact would be diverted away from fueling this conflict, because these are civilians in United States, Germany, and UK who are getting their politicians to be involved in this conflict in many ways that are not helpful. So the views, if more people around the world had the view that there's enough land in this between the Jordan River and Mediterranean Sea that is enough, that is more than enough for both of these people to live there, and the only reason why this conflict exists is because religious and political and racist stories that other people have told these people, then shifting that mindset. And I know it's not easy. Obviously, we're not, but it takes generations. But being part of the people that is telling, being part of the group of people that is telling a different story, a story that doesn't involve taking a side and being in one team against another, I think that is that's a simple take that you don't even have to believe, that you could just only consider that maybe it's true, and say, like, I don't, and admit that you don't. Just like you, a lot of people could admit that this is more complicated than they think, but at the same time realize that it doesn't take a genius to see that there is enough room for everybody there. These people, there's nothing inherent between Arabs and Jews that makes them natural enemies. Like, it's only because it's only because of the stories that they're telling each other that makes it such, because there is no lack of resources in this area, right?
That's so obvious, though, and I feel like the best thing that I could do is to simply take a step back and say, hey guys, this is a very heated conflict, and even if you are involved in the conflict, even if you live there, you have very strong opinions. Those strong opinions are mostly motivated by the history, by things that you can do nothing for, by religion, by political identity, and maybe I could give them just a food for thought to just think about that. The best thing I could do, I think I'm still happy with the video that I published, because I emphasized that even the people involved mostly feel very strongly about this for reasons that they might not directly acknowledge, and that everyone should just calm the hell down and think about this again. But instead of just giving my opinion about this, instead of trying to inform people, instead of being neutral or giving my point of view, I feel like the best thing I could do is just say, hey, everybody.
No, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. Yeah, but that's, everybody could pick a role. My role, I think my role that I want to, even though it's a small role, it's going to have very small impact. I know it's going to have a very small impact, but I like to be a positive force, even if it's a very small positive force. And I think, like, in my opinion, most people that have their opinions about this, they're not going to switch to being very opinionated about this to all of a sudden taking advice like, hey, can you stop being opinionated about this? Or like, oh, okay, I'm going to take a backseat. I think the more realistic term is like, have you considered not being, here's another interesting take. Have you considered not being pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, but being pro-Palestinian people and pro-Israeli people against the people who are taking advantage of Israeli people and Palestinian people? That's a suggestion that I'm putting out there for people.
I don't think I would. I don't think I'm in a position where I could properly and accurately influence people in this way. I would rather leave that to others. To be very honest, yeah.
I am triggered by a comment in the live chat. Where is this? Pyro was saying something. Where is it? Pyro's comment. Oh, here. Oh, finally, Armin remembers that Susie is there. Okay, I just have to comment here. We at Atheist Republic are very committed to our deep-rooted values of misogyny, okay? Even though with our CEO being a woman.
I hate you every time you say this.
Yes, every time people think like we're being pro-woman because our CEO is a woman. No, that's just like, she's just too qualified. We were looking for a man. But she was just too qualified. We were forced to do this. We are going to, that's a value that we will never betray. Misogyny is our number one value. Also, Susanna, at any time, she was able to jump in. She raised her hand and she was like, I want to say something, and she got in. Like, don't make it seem like I'm talking. Don't virtue signal like I'm talking over her. I'm not letting her to speak. Anytime she wanted to, she could have spoken over.
I think it's also symbolic. I think it's also symbolic, like putting Susanna up here as a leader who has a voice.
Yes,
or at least it looks like that, is important to make Atheist Republic look more modern, more progressive, more inclusive, more whatever.
No, we're committed.
But in reality, it doesn't really matter.
No, we are not. We don't hide the fact that we're a misogynist company. We're proud of it.
Stop saying this.
No, we are proud of
it.
Also,
here's why we don't grow.
Here's proof. Look, Pyro, who is, may I say,
Susanna, please don't talk while men are talking.
Yes. Let the boys do the thinking. Okay, but here's proof. Pyro, who's a woman, is saying you are an ass, Armin, but still love you. Okay, this is why you don't let women do the thinking, because you are an ass, Armin. It's A-N.
No, yeah.
Thank you, Mars, coming to my defense. Susie has more balls than most men I know.
Proof again that it takes men to do work, because you see, like, Mars is suggesting.
Oh my God!
Mars
I'm
is
going to end this stream.
Mars is suggesting. No, wait. No, hold on. Mars is suggesting that you need men quality, because he's saying you have balls. Okay, so the only reason why Susanna is good at being a CEO is because she has male qualities. Balls is male qualities. Okay, so Susanna is a good CEO because in some ways she acts like a man. That's why she's a good CEO.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I think women are better people than men. Yeah.
You drive me up a wall.
Yeah. I think men should shut up a little bit. Don't you agree, Susanna?
No.
It depends.
I think you should. I don't really care what you think. I think.
That was perfect.
I should probably leave, man. I just came here to record a video, and I wanted to go back within half an hour. But yeah.
Yes, we managed to take away one video from Apostate Prophet channel.
Yeah. I'm so tired now.
Yeah, guys. But thank you so much for coming here. We love you, and we're gonna watch you. We're gonna attack you every single mistake you make. We're gonna make a video.
Please just
wait, Armin. Can I tell him what you said?
Wait. What is he saying? Please, what?
I said, please just leave me alone. I'm already suffering so much.
We're coming after David Wood next, actually. David, are you still in the live chat? We're coming after you.
Probably is.
All right.
Yeah. No, thanks so much, guys. Nice to be here always. Nice talking to you, Susanna. Can't say the same thing about you, Armin, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know you love. I know you love me. You have a picture of me right on your desk, don't you? Like
it's
you
true.
look at it.
Yeah.
You look at it every time before you're streaming. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go.
I'm leaving. See you.
All right, guys.
Good night.
See you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye. That was fun. Oh, Anwar is here.
Oh,
Dear-
hey, Hunter.
What is this?
Protectors of the non-religious. How did Trump's move of formally recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel affect the conflict? Do you think it contributed or almost?
Oh, that's another stream. Today was about criticizing AP. But when we do a Q&A, this would be a good question. But thank you for being here, Honor. Anyways, we went over like it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Leave David alone. No, we're gonna make a video after we cover the Iranian elections. We're gonna make a video on David Wood and criticize him next. Who else we should go after? Does Abdullah Samir has anything that we could go after?
Well, I think we disagree more often with Harris Sultan than Abdullah Samir.
Okay, find something on Harris Sultan. Oh my God, that man is gonna get
dirt on him.
He's gonna get triggered.
Wait, can I tell you? Can I say what you told me?
I don't know. No, because I don't know which one. So I'm not gonna let you know. I'm not gonna give you that permission because I don't know which one it is. Okay. I'm scared. I don't know which one. I say so many things to you that are so wrong and that it's not on the stream. So I don't want to just. I just don't want to give a blank check without knowing what's on it, right? So
no, it's when you're.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Tell me later.
I think you'd be fine with it, but I'll ask you later.
Tell me later. Okay. All right, guys. This was fun. Subscribe to this channel. And again, the level of honesty on this channel means that I'm not going to end this chat in this live stream by saying I love you all. See? Guys, again, this is the honesty that you could expect from this channel. I like you so much. The people in the live chat that you're active. I'm not going to be like the other content creators that they lying to you. Okay. When they say they love you at the end of the streams, they're lying to you. I'm the honest one here. I like you a lot. Okay. I don't love you. I don't love you. Do not come to streams looking for love. If you come to streams looking for love, you have issues. Okay. Go find love in some other places. Okay. So I don't love you, but I like you a lot. Okay. All right. Like you a lot. And subscribe to our newsletter, Free Blasphemy. Free blasphemous art for all the people who are subscribing. Every week we have the next one is Moses and Ramses. People told us we're not going to make blasphemy on Judaism. People told us we're not going to make blasphemous on Judaism. Next art is blasphemy with Moses. We're delivering Moses, blasphemy against Moses. Well, I mean, is it against blasphemy in celebration of Moses? Guys, every time I say blasphemy, blasphemy against this, against our blasphemy, our art is a celebration. It's not against anything. Okay. All right. Cool. Get ready for it. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you, Ghost Benny. And Pyro. Nice. I like my simps more than my other people.